All right, here we are. We finally made it on the blab. I am so excited to get to talk to you.
Yeah,
This is our first face-to-face conversation, isn't it?
it is, and we're really excited too, aren't we, Dan?
It's fantastic.
Yeah, this is our very first ever blab, by the way.
Well, we're doing great. We'll get it all figured out. We got in here in under 6 minutes, so I think that's a record.
That's a land speed record as far as we're concerned.
You're doing great. Yeah, we're doing great. Well, got us both in here, and we'll get everything started. I'm really excited to be here with you guys today because you have something new you're doing this week. This is, of course, a huge holiday week. We've got Thanksgiving coming up. We've got Black Friday coming up. Small Business Saturday coming up, and then and then the Christmas season to follow very, very closely. And I'd love for you to tell me a little bit and tell everyone here, and for those of you who don't know, I'm Janice Clark. I'm the owner of BizM Solutions, and I am speaking with clients and very dear friends, people I admire so much, and just I'm always so excited to talk to Sandra and Daniel Biskind. And they are truly two of the most inspirational, wonderful, motivational people you will ever speak to. Just hearing their voices makes my day. So I'm excited for you to tell us what you're doing this week over on Facebook.
Well, we had a bit of fun down at the beach, didn't we?
We did. It was great.
Yeah. We decided that the people in the US are totally into all sorts of festivities and holidays. I love the way the Americans go for all of the holidays and the fun and everything, like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. However, down under, we don't have that many stressful holidays. And when I say stressful, I mean stressful in great, because you can have a lot of fun with this. So the stress is like gets the adrenaline going and it's okay. But we work with a lot of clients, and can I tell you that this time of year is when everybody wants you to be at your best, so to speak, and they want you to all get on and to love each other and to show up to family reunions and to show up for the big turkey. And so apart from, say down under, we have the stress of everyone needing to get together for Christmas, and you either can make it or you can't make it, or you don't want to sit with a relative, or you do want to sit with somebody, or you don't want to see them. But here you get double the trouble in a really short space of time, because Thanksgiving and Christmas are really close together. So there is a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of pressure to show up as the best version of you. And can I tell you,
as opposed to showing up as a turkey.
Right, right. Yeah, well, you know.
I've been both.
Yeah, right. So what's happening is that a lot of our clients are calling us and saying, please help. I'm having trouble with my husband. The pressure is so huge. The kids, the in-laws. So we realized that this time of year, and probably people who are on this call are feeling the same way, that there is a bit of pressure. It's like, I don't know if I really want to turn up as the best version of who I am right now. And I'm having trouble coping with just keeping myself together. So what we thought we would do is a little 2-minute refresh where we're asking people to just close their eyes for a moment and take a couple of deep breaths with us, with me. Daniel's on the other end of the camera. He was the good boy holding the camera. And I'm just saying, take a deep breath. And what we're doing is activating people, giving them an activation so that they can recenter themselves back into balance. When you're in balance and you have your emotions under control, it's really hard to push your buttons. Daniel loves that saying, push your buttons, right?
Absolutely. The key is who's pushing your buttons.
Yeah. Yeah. And Janice, yourself.
And how easy are your buttons to push? How
key. That's key.
Push button proof are you? Which is where we all want to be.
Yeah. Well, we were having a conversation, Janice, and it was really interesting. It was, you have clients too that are going through a similar thing, right?
Right. Oh, yes. Everyone's going through this right now. This is a really stressful time of year. Good stress and bad stress. It's not all bad. Some of it is very, very good, but stress is still very wearing on the body. And, our buttons right now may not be too easy to push, but, come a week before Christmas,
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot easier to make people angry or upset or hurt feelings or without even intending to. And everyone is going through this. And I, like I shared with you, I work with clients that are very, very small business owners, maybe no employees. It's all them. I also work with corporate clients, huge clients that have lots of employees and you would think lots of help and who make millions. And we don't think about them having the same types of stress. That my conversations with everyone are exactly the same. We all just tense up and everyone's really struggling.
Yeah, they are struggling. And Daniel and I work with leaders and successful people, entrepreneurs as well, Janice. And we find that their stresses are, believe me, they're almost more and greater than what people understand. You know, you look at people who are successful and you think, oh, well, they're not going through anything. They're great. But quite frankly, our hearts just go out to them because day in, day out, they're putting themselves on the line to help people in a major way. And so their stuff is coming up constantly. You know, it's like us. We're working on the phone with clients who are really high-powered people. We correct ourselves to get neutral, to stay balanced every single day. I put my hand up and say, Daniel, help.
And that's so good. You've got him.
It's working on ourselves and supporting one another to come back to that center point, that perfect point of power, and to really think about, well, what would the best version of me do in this situation?
Don't you love that?
I love that. That is just incredible. And you know, by being balanced, by doing this and taking care of yourself and taking that breath and remaining calm and remaining neutral, we can diffuse so many situations. I think people in general, I know my clients do, they underestimate how many people they really affect every single day. You know, certainly the clients in front of you, but your family, your friends, the cashier down the street, the guy at the gas station. You know, if you go in with a surly attitude, with your buttons ready to be pushed at any moment, you are really sending out negative ripples that affect.
Yeah.
You're broadcasting a frequency that creates problems, not just for you and not just for the people in your immediate vicinity, but those frequencies have no limits to where they go.
Yeah, that's a bit scary, isn't it? You know, we've been through a tough time. Like the world has been suffering and anxious. There's a lot of fear going on with all of the attacks in Paris and what's happening around the world. And if we buy into that and we start to become very fearful ourselves, like our buttons, you know, people's buttons were pushed this week, weren't they?
Yes, they were. They really were.
And they were going, oh, is that going to happen here? What's going on? But if you think about it, we can terrorize each other just by withholding our love. We can terrorize each other by stopping talking to somebody, by not forgiving them. And so what we're doing is we're acting in a way, and I know we're not setting off a bomb that's killing people, but we are setting off emotional bombs. And so what's happening is that's why when Daniel said, what would the best version of you do? I think that we really have to look at this and go, well, hang on, if I snub this person, if I take my bad mood out into the world, if I'm fearful and angry and I'm affecting my family, my children, my partner, you know, the people in the grocery store, like you just said, whoever it is, then what am I broadcasting out to the world? Because I know you've read our books, Janice, in the Code Breaker Platinum series, right?
Yes, I have. They're wonderful.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And we talk a lot about the fact that human beings are an energy frequency. Like we're spiritual beings in this amazing body that we happen to have right now. But that's not who we are. We're not this body. We're really incredible spiritual beings. And that spiritual being is energy. So we're all energy. We're electrical currents flowing through us all, you know, we're affected by each other all the time. I mean, it's almost like you walk into a room and people plug into you and we plug into them. Daniel and I walk into a room and people go, wow, what's going on here? And that's because our focus has been on love. It's just been on unconditional love and enlightenment. So our frequency is kind of in that playing field, whereas if we had just had a fight, for instance, and we were out of that place of unconditional love, and if we were feeling fearful and we walked into a room, people would be going, oh, what is happening here? I don't, have you ever walked into a room where people have been fighting?
Yeah. Yes.
How did you feel?
Even when you don't know what's going on, you can feel.
Yeah, you can know what's going on.
You can feel the tension in the room. How many times have you heard that phrase?
Yeah.
You really can.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And that tension is actually what you're picking up on, is the energy frequency of the people who are in the room, right? Or who have even been in the room. So this is all scientific. It's all been proven. I'm not thinking that's a good idea and I'm just saying it. The fact is that this is how human beings work. And I love to enlighten people as to how we really work, because when people have that knowledge, they go, whoa, hang on a minute. If I'm feeling lousy and I'm in a bad mood.
If I'm terrorizing myself.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's what.
And you really can.
Yeah, we do, don't we? Every negative thought is really an act of sabotage. It's really an act of terror. And we don't think of it that way. But I'd like people to start thinking of it that way, because that's what creates the stress and the pressure. Like Thanksgiving is coming up, the holidays, and people are going, oh, I really do not want to sit with that person. I don't like them. But guess what? You talk about the unconscious mind, that when the unconscious mind hears something, it applies it to you, right?
It does. When you point a finger, 3 point back at you.
Yeah. See, those three?
And that's not just a saying. It's actually true. What we think about and say about other people, our unconscious mind, which has no sense of irony and no sense of negation.
Humor.
And absolutely no sense of humor.
Yeah.
Applies it to ourselves.
Yeah.
And so when we're critical of someone else, the unconscious mind is taking that very same criticism on board as if it was directed to us. Fascinating point, isn't it?
Fascinating. I have never heard that line of thought before, but that is fascinating.
Yeah.
It's powerful insight. It's true.
So can you imagine, Janice, that right now, with everybody sitting in judgment of everything that's going on in the world, and most importantly, judgment of ourselves, because that's it. Every time we judge another person, we're still judging ourselves and we're still judging us. So I really say to people, look, you've got to get control of the mind, right? You need to train your mind to say what the best version of you would say. I have so many women that I deal with who go, but I just don't love myself enough. And I'm going, wow. It's like slapping yourself around every time you say that, really, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah. So get to a point where you can really look into a mirror. This is a great exercise for people. Get to a point where you can look into a mirror and just look into your own eyes and say, I see you. I love you. You are good enough. And I am good enough. And I have always been good enough. When you start to think of yourself like that, it's much easier to love other people. I mean, how do you love other people if you can't even love this amazing being that you are? So that's where
that's a great exercise.
Yeah. Well, that's where the stress starts too. We're so critical and so used to being critical that we're setting up stresses all the time, every single day. And so when you take a deep breath, and you focus in onto, let's give you another fun thing, platinum, right? When you focus into a platinum state of mind, you can't think like that any longer, because platinum breaks down to peace, love, awareness, trust,
integrity, neutrality, unity, and mindfulness.
So I know that you know all of this because you've read the books But the fact is that if you start developing a platinum state of mind, where you are training your mind to be into those words they all those words have a frequency as well, just like we do. So there is a frequency of peace, which, by the way, is our inner essence. There is a frequency of love. Oh my goodness, love is who we are. So awareness is so important, because without awareness, you keep judging yourself, right? So the whole thing is that, and trust. Well, I might as well just go through it quickly. So if you can't trust yourself, and you can't trust that you are safe in the world, you are always going to be fearful.
There's only fear or love at the end of the day. Yeah. And so attuning to love is absolutely essential. And if you're distrustful, mistrustful, not in touch with trust, you can't get in touch with love, which is your essence.
Yeah. And then integrity is the next one in the platinum state of mind. And I feel like this is one of the most important ones. And that's when you know what is right and you have the courage to follow through on what is right. Because, and when people understand that you're in integrity and you know your integrity with yourself, you have nothing to fear.
Integrity comes from being integral, which means being whole, having no internal contradictions.
Wow.
And when you're consistent.
Wow.
Yeah, big.
I thought I was a person of integrity, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
When you are integral, when you are consistent, that's when you're really strong. You know the saying, a house divided cannot stand. That's because it's not integral and whole and all working together. That's where our real strength comes from, our integrity.
Yeah. And then neutrality, which is the big one for me, for us. And neutrality is when you don't have your buttons pushed. It's when the emotions that have been running your show simply no longer can push your buttons. So being neutral is akin to being enlightened. Yeah?
We talk about, in many traditions, we talk about being non-attached. And non-attachment is an important part of neutrality.
Yeah, and that's really hard when your sister or your brother is yelling at you and things are going on, right? But neutrality is important. And then unity, well, you know, if we don't think that we're one with all life, if we don't understand that the stuff that makes up the stars is the same stuff that makes up who we are, if we don't understand that we're really all brothers and sisters in this world, it's going to be really easy to hurt each other. So unity is very important. And then mindfulness, that's a big one too, right?
Mindfulness is being aware of what's going on inside. It's being aware and conscious of your thoughts, of your feelings, your emotions, and it's watching them. It's not identifying with them. It's watching them objectively and staying aware of them. When you're aware of them, then when they need correcting, it's easy to correct. But if they need correcting and you're not aware they need correcting, we're in trouble.
But one of the ways that that we can start developing a platinum state of mind and even change the way our brain works, which is pretty exciting stuff too, is to constantly focus on those things. And that's why we decided to do the 2-minute refresh, which starts today at 1 o'clock on Facebook. So every day this week on Facebook, people are going to come on. They'll know that Daniel's behind the camera and I'm there at the beach, and I'm just going to get you to breathe with me and give you an activation to peace and to love. So today is peace, obviously tomorrow's love, and we just go through the week and really attuning people to that frequency so they can just take the deep breath with me, get centered. You know, before you go into a meeting in an office, before, you know, when the kids are yelling, before you open your mouth and do anything, okay, what would the best version of me do? The first thing it would do is take a deep breath. And that's the getting calm, the getting neutral, understanding that it's all okay, and that it's just time to stay centered. So we just launched a few weeks ago our Codebreaker Platinum meditation series, which I'm really excited about. I think you've got them too, haven't you?
I do. They're wonderful.
Yeah. We use them when we get up in the morning. We use them straight away. And so each morning we're doing an activation to peace or an activation to love. And so we're setting ourselves up. It's only 15 minutes, but we set ourselves up every single day to that frequency so that during the day, that's where we want to be. That's, yeah.
You know, Janice, we talk about, we all have an ego puppy.
Yeah.
And
I was just thinking about ego puppy yesterday, as a matter of fact.
well, one of our clients just told us she was going through a real challenging time, and she said, I had my ego puppy on a short leash, and it made all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
Well, the ego puppy training is one of the most important things we can do. And these 2-minute refreshes are like saying to your ego puppy, sit, stay, and then giving it a pat, a lovely, soft pat behind the ears.
Yeah, get calm.
And calming it down and bringing it back into a perfect relationship with you, its master.
Mm. Yeah, you know, Janice, we're in the McDonald's fast world, right? Everything's fast. Right. I want it now. I want it quickly. So
instant gratification.
Yeah, well, you know, that's why we only made these the Codebreaker Platinum meditations and the activations 15 to 18 minutes. We're thinking, well, that's fast because we're used to meditating for hours. However, even that is a long time for a lot of people. So this, you know, just taking a deep breath, take another deep breath. We call it a 2-minute refresh, but it's really only one. But by the time you get onto Facebook, look it up and do it, it's about 2. So, I mean, I don't think I can get much faster than that. I know McDonald's give you their money back if they go over.
You know, that's really all it takes. You know, I am one of those people. I don't have hours to meditate. I don't have hours to reset. I've got a business. I've got a husband. I've got a family. I've got a little dog at my feet right now. I've got a 6-year-old wandering around the house somewhere, and I keep hoping she'll stay outside the office door for a little bit longer.
Oh, I don't mind. We'd like to meet her.
But that's all it takes. A few minutes in the morning. You know, some days I've got to do it several times. Some days I need several moments to just stop and refresh and pull myself back together. It doesn't take hours. Minutes at a time is all it takes. And these are so highly effective. And I love the refresh that you're doing. Oh, you know, this is needed 365 days a year. I'm really glad you're launching this during the holidays, but it's needed all the time. We are a society that is under tremendous stress, and we are multitasking ourselves to death, and we have so many obligations and so many tools and resources designed to help us save time, but we just use that time to fit more things in and try to do more things, and the stopping is the hard part. Now, I've always heard that the start is the hardest, but I really think it's the stop. Coming to a stop.
There's a tremendous tension between doing and being. And we lose touch with our beingness. And that's what this little 2-minute exercise brings us back in touch with, our beingness at our core, in our hearts.
So,
I love it.
Yeah, it's very interesting for me being an Australian and coming here and learning about this new culture, because I have friends here that get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to start work, and I'm thinking, what are you doing at 4 o'clock in the morning? You know, like, that's dark outside. I want to be asleep. You know, because sleep is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself as well. And I think what's happening
comes right after meditation.
Nice.
That's true. I think that what's happening here is with the workload is that we're losing a little bit of what's really important. Like, what is really important? A lot of my clients are unhealthy. A lot of them are overweight, and they're stressed out by all sorts of things.
They're basically out of balance.
Yeah, and that's what our work is about on every level. You know, like just the do-it-yourself work that we do with you, like doing things like this, doing the 2-minute refreshes, the books, the meditations, and then our coaching, of course. It's like you, Janice, when you have somebody on the other end of the phone and they're in the middle of a crisis and they're starting to talk about somebody else, I'm always really interested in how people want to blame other people for what is going on in their life.
It's easier
Yeah,
than taking responsibility.
right. Well, people who work with us have to take a bit of a deep breath because that won't fly for us. I always say if you're having your buttons pushed by somebody, it's all about you. Okay, what do you need to get neutral to? What's the program that's running that when they said that, it upset you, it hurt you? Because they could say the same thing to someone else and it may not upset them. So we've always got to be looking at what's going on inside of me. What is the conditioning that I had as a child? What did my parents and my siblings tell me? What did my teachers tell me? What did I believe to be the truth about me and the world that I'm getting hurt by the things that people are saying? Why do I believe these things? It's our beliefs and our perceptions that create the problem. And it's really being able to change your thoughts so you can change your life and change the world we live in, which is really important. And the start of that is get yourself balanced, get yourself into that state of peace, start being able to get into your heart and forgive. I mean, that's another blab all in itself, right?
We'll do it again.
Yeah, going into forgiveness is another one. It's huge because when you can forgive yourself for all the things that you've thought about yourself and other people, it's really much easier to forgive other people. And this time of year, it's one thing to go into this place and find a deep breath and really get focused. The next step would be to really go in and come to that place within your heart where you can forgive them, right? Because then you can sit at the table together, have your turkey and your peas and mashed potatoes or whatever it is you're going to have.
Don't throw them at each other. Just eat them.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, like you can eat it, enjoy it, and have fun. And all of the things we're talking about are really necessary for a strong, healthy body because the body is constantly interpreting what we're thinking and saying and acting accordingly. That's pretty scary on some level.
It really is.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, Janice, I thought, now, Blab, right, I'm just going to ask a question here. Is Blab's not like Periscope where people can call in and talk to us? Like, can people talk to us on Blab?
They can if they choose to call in. We've had 9 people live on the call right now watching and listening to us. But yes, if people want to call in, they can absolutely click on a button and I can let them in and we can have them on video too.
Okay, well, what I was thinking was because I thought that if somebody is going through a stressful situation right now and they would like us to work with them like we like work with our clients, like really give them a correction to get balanced about something, we're really happy to do that. I think this would give people an idea of how quickly it is to get your emotions under control.
What a treat. You guys are just fabulous.
Well, that's what we're here to do. We're here to serve. And, you know, we do this for each other every day.
At least once a day.
At least once.
In our other office down at the beach. And that's why I chose to do the 2-minute refresh at the beach, by the way, because apart from the fact that you've got the ocean rolling in, you've got the sand.
I love the ocean. It's so relaxing for me.
It is. Well, that's what I was thinking. We thought maybe if we're already in a place of nature, people go, oh, I'd love to be there. And then when you close your eyes, you can just imagine, you can hear the waves and you can take the breath and
join us.
Yeah, you can join us.
It's wonderful. It was a beautiful setting. I loved the videos and they just, the sounds and the sights. I could almost smell the ocean while you were talking.
Well, you know, if people really like them, Janice, because I really love that we were brainstorming this a couple of days ago together. If they really like it, we're very happy to do some for next week so that people can have a new experience and another 2-minute refresh. So we'll just see how people go this week and what kind of feedback we get. And
wonderful. I had some more ideas for you also, some that might make Daniel happy along these lines.
Well, we love the men in our lives.
Daniel. Right?
Absolutely.
Well, you guys you've just been incredible. So what you're basically telling me is, if I want to deal with my stress and the stress of the holiday, relationships, whatever the stressors might be, trying to fit in work and family and all of those things this time of year, it all begins with me. Yeah. I have to start right here getting this under control. Before, that's a tall order. You don't know what you're asking. I've got to get this under control before I can get anything out there under control.
Janice, to just take it from that microcosm and apply it to the macrocosm, and then we'll bring it back again. Burnout comes from losing our focus on the process and just being fixed on the outcome, on the end result. And when we do that repeatedly, we experience burnout. And when we get stressed out, it's the same thing microscopically. It's like, oh, I forgot the process that I'm involved in. I forgot all about what the best version of me would do, would say, would feel, would be. And I'm focused on this end result I'm trying to get. And that's going to stress us out every time. So if we can take that step back, and that's why we love to share with people this neutral still point breathing technique, where with just a couple of breaths, we can get back to our center and de-stress instantly. It's so valuable. Also,
Janice, I was watching you when you were doing that stress thing. I loved it. And I'd love to get back to your synopsis of what we were doing, the summary. But the fact is that imagine if you were having fun being a bit stressed, because stress is really a part of our daily lives, isn't it? But imagine if you could have a bit of fun with it. So if it wasn't pressing your buttons, you could have more fun, right?
Yes.
Right.
That's called eustress, EU stress, as opposed to distress, DIS stress.
Okay, now that was alien, right?
I'm going to take your word for that, Daniel.
Yeah, me too.
Well, that's, funny that you would say that, because my little girl and I, we do that all the time. It's just, it's stressful when you have a million things that are going on. There's always, around here, there's always something a place we have to be, something that has to get done, a client's website that's going down. We have to make it to school on time. We have to get homework done. We've got to get to dance and gymnastics, and then something needs to be written and posts need to be approved. And so in the mornings, very often when we're on a really tight schedule trying to get to school, it does get a little stressful. Yeah. And instead of, I never want to be that mother who's pulling out her hair and screaming, "Get in the car!" That's, I try not to be that mother, but we get into a little fun stress routine where we're running around kind of like Abbott and Costello, and we're bumping into each other, and she's grabbing a jacket and I'm grabbing a backpack, and we're chasing each other in circles and running to the car. And I have a Jack Russell Terrier, and I don't know if you know anything about them. They're incredible little dogs. And when she sees us doing this, she starts running circles and running laps around and the whole situation is just hilarious. And it alleviates the stress of the morning. And she has a great time, and I end up laughing. And when you can laugh in the middle of all of it, suddenly everything is just better.
We can see what's going on. Your ego puppy, which is
my ego puppy. Well, that's why I was thinking about ego puppy. She was chasing me up the sidewalk, and I thought, there comes ego puppy.
Yeah, exactly. But also, this is one thing that we really know to be a fact too, is that our animals reflect what we're doing. So with your little Jack Russell running around the way you guys were, that's what happens with our animals. I mean, we meet people and the dog starts sneezing, and I go, "Whoa, what kind of allergies do you have?" And I'm looking at the owner. They go, "Yeah, I do have allergies." And it's like the dog starts having the allergies too. Our pets really do mirror us.
Yes, that doesn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah,
we almost look alike too these days.
So look, that's it. Let's just dedicate this next few weeks during this holiday time to really understanding that it is about us, that it's not about the other person.
Taking responsibility.
Yeah, like it. And taking the deep breath. Just taking the deep breath. It'll help. And smiling.
And they can do that with us on Facebook every day this week at 2 p.m. Eastern. They can join you on Facebook for a nice 2-minute refresh. And these are wonderful. They're relaxing. They're very simple. And I highly encourage everyone, just stop what you're doing, just 2 minutes, and join the Biscuits on Facebook, and you will thank yourself for it. Your ego puppy will thank you for it eventually.
Thank you, Janice. This has been lots of fun.
Much.
Lots of fun.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. It's been great talking to you, and have a wonderful day. And I will see you on Facebook in just a few moments.
Great.
Great.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.